ancient light, the wisdom of the Bible as one eternal journey. In the beginning, before there were oceans to roar or stars to shimmer, there was wisdom. Not the wisdom of books, nor the cleverness of human thought, but eternal wisdom. The kind that speaks and galaxies are born. The kind that orders chaos into harmony. The kind that breathes life into dust and calls it beloved. Creation itself is the first great lesson. Power without wisdom destroys. Power guided by wisdom creates beauty. Light was separated from darkness, land from sea, sky from water. And in this divine ordering, we learn that life flourishes where there is design, balance, and intention. The world was not formed in haste. It unfolded with rhythm. And wisdom teaches us this: growth is sacred when it follows divine order. Humanity was shaped in the image of God, crowned not merely with breath, but with choice. And here the second great wisdom emerges. Love requires freedom. Without the ability to choose, there can be no genuine devotion. And so, from the very beginning, humanity was entrusted with responsibility. In the garden, harmony reigned, yet wisdom cannot be inherited. It must be chosen. The first act of disobedience was not merely about fruit, it was about trust. The lesson echoes through every generation. Wisdom listens before it reaches. Pride grasps, wisdom waits. Even in failure, however, another truth unfolds. Mercy walks beside justice. The exile from Eden was not abandonment. It was protection from eternal separation. The flaming sword was severe, but it guarded a greater redemption to come. Generations rise and fall, and we see that when humanity forgets wisdom, violence multiplies. In the days of Noah, corruption filled the earth. Yet one man listened, one man obeyed, and through him, life was preserved. The flood teaches that wisdom sometimes builds before the storm appears. Faith is not foolish when it listens to divine instruction. And when the waters recede, the rainbow appears, a reminder that even after judgment, covenant remains. Wisdom does not destroy without purpose, it restores with promise. Abraham steps into the unknown, guided by a whisper. Here we learn that wisdom often leads away from comfort. He leaves familiarity for destiny. And when promised descendants beyond counting, though age mocks the possibility, he believes. The wisdom here is quiet but powerful. What is impossible to sight is possible to trust. Joseph's story unfolds like a masterclass in divine wisdom. Betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, yet he refuses bitterness. And here is a profound truth. Wisdom transforms suffering into preparation. What others meant for harm becomes salvation. Through wisdom, pain is not wasted. Moses stands before a bush that burns but is not consumed. Fire without destruction, a symbol of holy wisdom. He learns that leadership is not dominance but humility. The greatest wisdom revealed in the desert is this: deliverance comes not through human strength, but divine obedience. The Red Sea parts, manna falls, water flows from rock, yet the wilderness reveals another layer of wisdom. Miracles do not replace trust. Even surrounded by provision, the human heart must still choose gratitude over complaint. The law given at Sinai is not merely a set of commands. It is a blueprint for flourishing. Honor, rest, faithfulness, integrity, compassion for the vulnerable. These are not restrictions. They are wisdom structured into community. When followed, they cultivate life. When ignored, they unravel it. The Psalms open the inner chambers of wisdom. They teach that true strength weeps when needed, that lament is not weakness, that worship is warfare against despair. The Lord is my shepherd is not poetry alone. It is a declaration that wisdom trusts guidance beyond its own understanding. Proverbs distills wisdom into seed form. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Pride precedes destruction. Guard your heart. Seek understanding more than gold. Here, wisdom becomes practical. It enters speech, work, friendship, marriage, leadership. It reminds us that character is destiny. The prophets rise like flames in darkness. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, voices crying out that ritual without righteousness is empty. Their wisdom pierces. Justice matters. Mercy matters. Humility matters. God desires transformed hearts more than polished ceremonies. And then, the fullness of wisdom walks among us. Jesus does not merely teach wisdom, he embodies it. He turns expectations upside down. The first shall be last. The meek inherit the earth. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Here we encounter divine paradox. The highest wisdom often appears foolish to pride. Power expresses itself through servanthood. Victory comes through surrender. He speaks in parables because wisdom must be sought. The prodigal son reveals that grace outruns rebellion. The Good Samaritan reveals that love crosses boundaries. The mustard seed reveals that greatness begins invisibly. When he calms storms, feeds multitudes, heals blindness, these miracles are not spectacles alone, they are revelations. Wisdom restores what is broken. Wisdom sees beyond disease to dignity. Wisdom feeds both body and soul. At the cross, the deepest wisdom unfolds. What appears as defeat becomes triumph. What appears as weakness becomes victory. What appears as death becomes life. Forgiveness in the face of cruelty. Compassion toward executioners. This is not human instinct, it is divine wisdom. The resurrection confirms the ultimate lesson. Truth cannot remain buried. Love cannot be conquered. Light cannot be extinguished. The early believers carry this wisdom forward. They learn that community thrives where generosity replaces selfishness, that courage grows when fear is surrendered, that suffering endured with faith produces endurance and hope. Paul, once a persecutor, becomes an apostle, proving that wisdom redeems even the most unlikely heart. His letters teach that love is patient, kind, not self-seeking, that spiritual maturity is measured not by knowledge alone, but by transformed character. And Revelation closes the journey with cosmic wisdom. History bends toward restoration. Justice and mercy converge. A new heaven and earth emerge where tears are wiped away. The final wisdom. Nothing surrendered to God is ever lost. From Genesis to Revelation, one truth flows like a golden thread. Reverence for God is the beginning of wisdom. Humility sustains it. Love perfects it. The Bible is not merely a record of events. It is an invitation to live wisely, to build before storms, to forgive before bitterness roots, to trust before sight confirms, to serve before being served, to hope before evidence appears. And perhaps the highest wisdom of all is this: you are known, you are called, you are invited into the same eternal story. The same wisdom that shaped the stars whispers into human hearts. It guides, corrects, restores, and renews. It walks with shepherds and kings, fishermen and scholars, the broken and the redeemed. This is the journey of the Bible. Not simply miracles, not simply history, but eternal wisdom unfolding through love. And it continues still. Amen?